The chosen one, if you're hearing these words right now, it's not by accident. You've been awakened at a critical turning point of a spiritual cycle. And for 3 sacred days, from July 27th to July 29th, you're being called to do something rare and powerful. Be alone, not lonely, not abandoned, but divinely set apart. The universe is closing in everything around you, not to trap you, but to bring you back to the purest vibration of your soul. Before the next gate opens, you must clear the noise, the static, the attachments of the outside world. You must strip everything down to silence, because silence is where God speaks. Before we go further into this divine revelation, stop for a moment and take these 3 steps. 1. Like this video to signal that your soul is ready for a higher alignment. 2. Comment the number 444. This is the spiritual code of inner foundation being rebuilt in you. 3. Subscribe now to join the community of 144,000 chosen ones, awakening at this exact hour. And only the chosen ones will stay until the end, because what will be revealed in the final moment will shift the entire direction of your destiny. These 3 days are not just a break on your calendar. They are an energetic corridor between 2 spiritual ages. The old cycle is fading. The new hasn't begun yet. You're in the in-between. It's like a sacred pause where time feels suspended. Most people won't even notice anything is happening. But your soul knows. You feel it. Something huge is moving behind the veil. But to sense it clearly, you can't be tangled in noise. You can't be swept in distraction. You must return to the center of your being. This is not the time to chase after crowds or seek validation. This is the time to retreat, not to escape, but to hear the calling within. From July 27th to 29th, you will feel an intense pull to withdraw. Don't resist it. That urge to turn off your phone, to skip the group chat, to sit in stillness for hours, it's not random. It's a coded invitation. The spirit realm is broadcasting in a rare frequency, and only those in stillness will receive the message. The solitude you are being drawn into isn't punishment, it's preparation. You are not being isolated because you're doing something wrong. You're being separated because you're about to walk a path few have seen. It's a path not meant for the masses, but for the ones who have always felt different. You've always known you weren't meant to live like everyone else. Now that knowing is being confirmed. It's no longer just a feeling, it's divine instruction. And in that silence, things will surface. Old memories, sudden tears, waves of anger. Let them rise, let them pass. You are being cleansed. You are being stripped of the debris that has kept you spiritually heavy. The next chapter of your life doesn't need your masks. It needs your essence. And your essence can only emerge in sacred quiet. From July 27th to July 29th, a very specific spiritual rhythm will pulse through the earth. It comes from the very center of the unseen realm, and it will touch everyone, but not everyone will understand it. Most will feel lost, anxious, confused. But you, the one being refined, will sense something entirely different. You will feel the urge to disappear, to step back, to vanish from the noise. Not as avoidance, but as initiation. If you honor this calling, if you allow yourself even just a few hours each day to be fully alone, you'll find yourself entering a spiritual tunnel, what some would call a vibrational corridor. It's narrow, it's hidden, and only accessed by those who have been silently marked for it. You are not lost. You are not invisible. You are being summoned. And the solitude that surrounds you is the sacred shell where a new version of you is forming. In these 3 days, try not to reach for distractions. Don't scroll just to fill the silence. Don't call someone just to feel seen. Don't push yourself into productivity just to feel like you matter. For once, trust that your presence, your breath, your awareness is enough. Sit down. Listen deeply. You might not hear voices or see visions, but you will feel something shift inside. That shift is the beginning of a new alignment. You may cry. You may feel waves of emotion rise up from nowhere. Good. Let it come. What rises, releases. What stirs, clears. These are not emotional breakdowns. These are sacred floods. They are washing out what no longer belongs in your next season. The version of you who clung to old pain is ready to dissolve. And in that letting go, you are making space for something ancient to return, your clarity. If you're feeling tired, rest. If your body wants stillness, honor it. If your mind drifts toward questions you haven't asked in years, don't push them away. Journal, meditate, Sit in the dark if you need to. Speak to your soul as if it remembers everything you've forgotten. Because it does. You've lived lifetimes. You've been through initiations before. This time, you're remembering that preparation. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You only need to listen. From July 27th to July 29th, you are not being sent into the wilderness alone. You're being called back into the divine chamber within. A space so deep, so real, so ancient, it can only be accessed when all outer noise is gone. There, you will meet yourself, not the self shaped by roles, fears, or expectations, but the self who knew before birth exactly why you came. And when you meet that version of yourself, everything changes. During these 3 days, you might notice something strange, a memory flooding in while you're doing something ordinary, an unexpected emotion rising in your chest for no clear reason, a pull to walk a different path, take a different turn, avoid a certain crowd. These are not random. These are signals. Your soul is speaking in its native language, through feelings, impressions, sudden knowings. The shift is already underway. The old energy is falling away. Relationships that no longer align may quietly dissolve. Jobs or responsibilities that once felt meaningful may suddenly lose their color. People may say you're changing. They're right. You are. But this isn't a crisis. It's a clearing. You are shedding the weights that cannot survive in the next elevation of your journey. And though it may feel unsettling at first, this process is sacred. You don't need to fight it. In fact, the more you resist, the more it hurts. But the more you surrender, the more you're freed. These 3 days are a sacred ritual. You don't need a temple. You don't need witnesses. You need only yourself and your willingness to be real. Be honest. Let the truth of who you are rise to the surface, even if it's messy, even if it's painful, even if it breaks you open. Especially if it breaks you open. Turn off the distractions. Write down what you've been afraid to admit. Sit in silence. Listen to your breath. Let it guide you back to a center you forgot existed. You are not just a person surviving another week. You are a soul encoded with purpose, waking up. You are not trying to fix yourself. You are remembering yourself. And there's nothing broken about that. From July 27th to July 29th, you are invited to do something you may have never done before. Be with yourself, without masks, without goals, without performance, just presence. In that presence, your spirit will begin to glow. The light that others seek from the world outside will begin to rise from within you. And this light is not to be flaunted, it is to be lived. No one else has to understand. No one else needs to agree. This is not a time to seek approval or explain yourself. This is not about being right. It's about being real. What is emerging in you is not explainable through logic. It's a spiritual awakening, and it's happening on time. Just like it was meant to. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are exactly where you need to be, and these 3 days are proof. There's a reason why so many awakened souls go through a season of isolation before their spiritual mission begins. It's not exile, it's activation. From July 27th to July 29th, you are being given that sacred window, not to escape life, but to meet it differently, from the inside out. To hear the instructions whispered only in stillness, to align with the deeper rhythm that governs your soul's unfolding. This is not a time to strive. This is a time to sink into yourself, into presence, into the moment. The more you try to do something with these 3 days, the more you'll miss what they are truly for. Stop looking for signs. You are the sign. Stop chasing meaning. You are the meaning. Stop asking what comes next. What comes next depends entirely on whether you show up fully in this pause. You may feel something intense moving through your body, a heat in your chest, a pressure in your forehead, a sense of urgency that makes no sense. Don't ignore these. They are not medical symptoms. They are energetic upgrades. Your soul is trying to get your attention. The downloads you've prayed for, they're here. But you must get quiet enough to receive them. These 3 days are not about action. They're about attunement. Align your space. Dim the lights. Light a candle. Sit with your hands on your heart. Walk barefoot on the earth. Let your body recalibrate to nature's rhythm. Every small act done with presence becomes a sacred ritual. Every quiet choice becomes a realignment with your divine design. If you've ever asked, what is my purpose? This is it. Not what you do, but who you become. And in these 3 days, you're not becoming someone new. You're remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. The one who came here with a mission encoded in the soul. The one who whispered to the stars, when the time comes, I will wake up. This is the time. And if grief rises, if old fears return, if shame crawls up from the shadows, don't panic. Don't shame yourself for feeling. It's all part of the purification. What comes up, comes out. What you feel, you heal. These emotions are echoes of old programming that no longer match your new frequency. They are surfacing to be released, not relived. This is not regression. This is resurrection. And you are in the center of it. From July 27th to July 29th, your soul enters a sacred threshold. It's invisible to the eye, but unmistakable to the spirit. You are crossing over, not into something external, but into a deeper layer of your own being. Every moment of stillness becomes a portal. Every breath becomes a bridge. This is how spiritual timelines shift, not with noise and spectacle, but with silence and surrender. You don't need a guru. You don't need a script. What you need is the courage to be still long enough for truth to rise. It will not come through the mouth of another. It will rise from within your own chest, like a quiet certainty, a wordless knowing. And when it comes, it will not ask for your permission. It will simply begin to change you from the inside out. This is the reintroduction to your own divine nature. You may not recognize yourself by the end of these 3 days. And that's the point. The version of you that lived in loops of people-pleasing, self-doubt, and avoidance is dissolving. The soul-led version is emerging. That version doesn't seek approval. That version doesn't shrink. That version remembers. You will begin to notice synchronicities intensify. Repeating numbers, sudden insights, dreams that feel more like messages than imagination. A shift in the way you respect people. You're not imagining it. The veil is thinning. The spirit realm is moving closer. And if you remain in presence, you'll begin to receive not just signals, but direct transmission. There's a softness in this transformation, but also a fire. You'll feel both. You'll weep and smile in the same breath. You'll feel grief and gratitude pulsing side by side. Let it all pass through. There is no wrong way to feel. What matters is that you remain open. Judgment closes the door. Presence keeps it open. Don't be surprised if some people fall away after this. You are ascending, and not everyone is willing to rise. That's not abandonment. That's alignment. The universe removes what can't go with you, so that what is meant for your higher path can find you without interference. From this space of sacred solitude, you will emerge not louder, but clearer. Not faster, but deeper. Not more confident, but more anchored. The old identity may still linger in memory, but it will no longer define you. You will carry something new. An essence, a frequency, a light that doesn't need explaining. When the final hours of July 29th arrive, something within you will shift permanently. Not because you forced it, not because you earned it, but because you allowed it. You honored the silence. You answered the sacred invitation. You became still when the world pulled you to perform. And in that stillness, the gate opened, not in the sky, but in your own being. No one may notice what happened to you during these 3 days. But you'll know. You'll walk differently. You'll respond to situations with a calm that wasn't there before. You'll feel less reactive, more aware, less concerned with being seen, more connected to what you see in others. That's what happens when you step out of the noise and into your divine alignment. You'll no longer crave the things you once chased. The need for validation, the longing to belong, the fear of missing out, they begin to fall away like old skin. Not because you forced them out, but because they no longer match the energy of who you've become. You have shifted, and what's meant for the old you can no longer hold on to you. This doesn't mean life will become easy, but it will become clear. You will trust your instincts more. You'll sense when something is off, even without evidence. You'll feel led in directions that don't make logical sense, but feel deeply right. And you'll follow, not because you know where it leads, but because your soul does. People may say you've changed. You have. They may not understand. They're not supposed to. Spiritual shifts are not meant to be explained. They're meant to be lived. And those who are aligned with your new frequency will find you without effort. You won't need to perform to be seen anymore. You'll simply radiate who you are. And that is more than enough. July 27th to 29th was not an intermission. It was a realignment. You weren't hiding. You were preparing. You weren't lost. You were being repositioned. What happens now will flow from that shift. The next chapter won't require you to chase, hustle, or prove. It will require you to stay anchored in what you now know to be true. And that truth is this: you are not who you were. You are who you were always meant to remember. What unfolds after July 29th is not just the result of what you did during those 3 days, it's the energy you now carry forward. This new frequency inside you becomes a compass. The way you move, speak, decide, and connect will all begin to shift. You will feel it before you see it. You will sense it before anything around you catches up. But do not doubt it. The shift is real. You may find yourself needing less noise and more nature, less advice and more solitude, less trying and more trusting. You'll begin to crave what nourishes your spirit, not just your ego. Your choices will start reflecting not who you were, but who you are becoming. And this becoming will not feel like pressure. It will feel like remembering. Old loops will attempt to reattach. Old people may try to pull you back into old patterns, but something in you now has roots. You're grounded in a deeper knowing. You've tasted the stillness. You've heard your own soul speak. You won't forget that. And even if you stumble, even if you have moments of doubt, you won't unknow what you now know. Every breath you take from this point on is part of a divine timeline. You are not rushing. You are not behind. You are walking in sync with something sacred. And as you walk, others will begin to notice, not because you announce yourself, but because you radiate a presence that shifts the room. That presence is the mark of someone who has been with God in silence. Let them wonder. Let them misunderstand. You don't need to convince anyone. You were not chosen to argue. You were chosen to embody. The path ahead will require discernment, courage, and rest. Yes, rest. You are not here to burn out saving others. You are here to become so aligned that your very presence becomes a healing. And healing doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it's just sitting in a room and being. Sometimes it's speaking less and loving more. Sometimes it's saying no without apology. Sometimes it's simply walking away from what no longer serves your elevation. All of that is sacred. All of that is leadership. All of that is legacy. Because from this moment forward, you are not walking alone. You walk with the echo of who you used to be and the light of who you were born to become.